Breaking today, Meghan Markle and Prince Harry's epic disaster at the Sundance Film Festival, where they can't even fill one movie theater.
Meghan Markle forced her own introduction, and she did it again. She inserts herself where she doesn't belong.
Meghan Markle attended Sundance for the premiere of her new documentary, Cookie Queens, and she couldn't even sell out the screening?
Picture this. One of the most prestigious film festivals in the world, tickets going for nearly $7,000, and a theater that can't even fill its balcony section.
Meghan Markle cannot even name her favorite Girl Scout cookie. She is at a premiere for a new movie called Cookie Queens, which she executive produced about girls selling Girl Scout cookies. And yet the woman cannot name a favorite Girl Scout.
Now imagine that the people behind this disaster are a duke and duchess who left royalty claiming they wanted privacy. Welcome to the Sundance humiliation that just exposed everything wrong with Harry and Meghan's Hollywood dream. Sunday morning at the Eccles Theater in Park City, Utah, roughly 150 empty seats stared back at the Sussexes.
How much does it cost and how do you get in? Because you can see that there are a lot of empty. There's one guy or a lady, I don't know, running away from Meghan.
The balcony sections looked like a ghost town. Entire rows completely vacant, while the documentary they executive produced flickered on screen below. This wasn't some indie filmmaker's first project struggling to find an audience. This was Cookie Queens, backed by Archewell Productions, promoted with full royal fanfare, and it still couldn't draw a crowd. But here's where it gets really brutal. The night before, in that exact same theater, Olivia Wilde's film had people literally being turned away at the door. Over 100 ticket holders couldn't get in because every single seat was taken. Staff had to apologize to premium pass holders who'd paid thousands of dollars because there simply wasn't room. A small horror movie called Buddy left 40 people standing in the freezing Park City cold because it was completely oversold. When actual talent shows up at Sundance, the theater fills. When the Sussexes arrive, you can hear crickets echoing off those empty balcony seats. Let's talk about what happened on that stage, because it reveals everything you need to know. Film festivals have an unwritten rule respected by everyone from Steven Spielberg to first-time directors. The filmmaker speaks first, always. The person who actually created the film gets introduced before anyone else. That's basic respect in the industry. But Meghan had other plans. The festival programmer stood there looking uncomfortable, saying, "I don't want to say too much before we welcome our director," then proceeded to introduce Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. She walked onto that stage before director Alysa Nahmias and launched into what can only be described as a practice Oscar speech. She thanked her team at Archewell, went on about how proud, "My husband and I are," never once saying Harry's name. The actual director stood off to the side, forced to wait while Meghan soaked up the spotlight. Now here's the timeline that makes this whole thing absolutely insane. On Wednesday, January 21st, Prince Harry sat in a UK courtroom, tears in his eyes, telling the judge how tabloid attention has made his wife's life an absolute misery. He talked about the constant media intrusion destroying their privacy, how they just want to live quiet lives away from the cameras and public scrutiny. Fast forward 48 hours. Saturday night, Harry and Meghan show up at Sundance for maximum press coverage, walking red carpets, posing for photographers, giving interviews, doing the full celebrity circuit. Sunday morning, they're back again with Meghan giving speeches, and both of them hugging the young girls from the documentary for People magazine photo ops. You cannot spend one day crying about how media attention has ruined your life, and then 2 days later voluntarily fly to one of the biggest media events in independent film. Either you want privacy or you want to be celebrities. You don't get to have both. You don't get to use the press when it benefits you and then play victim when the coverage isn't flattering. But the real story here is what happened after the credits rolled. Or more accurately, what didn't happen. At Sundance, distributors and streaming executives fly in specifically to buy films. When your movie premieres there, it's supposed to trigger bidding wars. Netflix, Amazon, A24, Apple, they're all competing to acquire the best projects. Olivia Wilde's films sparked exactly that kind of frenzy, with A24 dropping over $10 million to secure it. Multiple films got deals announced within hours of their screenings. Cookie Queens, nothing. No buyers stepped forward. No acquisition announcement came. The film remains unsold, sitting in limbo while Harry and Meghan's representatives presumably scramble to find anyone, willing to pick it up. Reports claim that Netflix gets first right of refusal because of their existing deal with Archewell Productions. But here's the thing. If Netflix actually wanted this documentary, they would have bought it immediately. The fact that they're waiting, that they haven't jumped on it, tells you everything about what they think of the Sussex brand right now. This connects to a bigger pattern that's impossible to ignore. When Harry and Meghan signed that massive Netflix deal in 2020, the streaming giant was betting on royal family drama and insider secrets. They got exactly one hit, the documentary series where they aired every piece of dirty laundry about the royal family. Once that well ran dry, their value to Netflix completely collapsed. With Love, Meghan quietly disappeared without renewal. The Polo documentary barely registered. Project after project either gets shelved or releases to complete indifference. Netflix renewed their deal in a reduced format, basically giving them just enough rope to see if they can produce anything worthwhile. The industry has figured out what many suspected. Without royal family gossip to sell, Harry and Meghan don't have content people actually want to watch. So what does the Sundance disaster really tell us? First, their star power is completely gone. They cannot fill a theater even when those tickets cost $7,000 and come with VIP festival access. Premium pass holders chose to sleep in rather than see the Sussexes. That's not a scheduling conflict. That's a statement about how little draw they have. Second, Hollywood has passed its judgment. The film got a standing ovation from the people who did show up. The reviews weren't terrible, but none of that matters if distributors won't buy it. The industry sees through the Duchess title and recognizes there's no substance underneath. Third, Meghan's attempts at authenticity keep backfiring spectacularly. She executive produced a documentary about Girl Scout cookies, but had to awkwardly fumble through questions about her own involvement. She speaks in word salad, gives meandering non-answers, and comes across as someone who attached her name to a finished project rather than someone who actually contributed creatively. Fourth, the hypocrisy has reached levels that even their remaining supporters struggle to defend. Privacy advocates don't walk red carpets. People truly suffering from media attention don't fly to film festivals seeking press coverage. The empty seats at Sundance weren't just about one poorly attended screening. They were a verdict on everything Harry and Meghan have tried to build since walking away from royal duties. They wanted to be Hollywood power players, respected producers, influential voices in entertainment. Instead, they're executive producers on unsold documentaries that can't fill theaters. Meghan thought her Duchess title would open doors and guarantee success. She thought breaking protocol and speaking first would show confidence. What it actually showed was someone fundamentally out of place in an industry that values talent over titles. The film industry is brutal in its honesty. Empty seats don't lie. When Olivia Wilde shows up, theaters overflow and bidding wars erupt. When the Sussexes arrive, balconies stay empty and distributors stay silent. Here's the bottom line that Sundance made crystal clear. Hollywood is done pretending Harry and Meghan are the draw they claim to be. The royal connection that once opened every door has become a liability. They can't deliver successful content. They can't fill theaters. They can't convince distributors their projects are worth investing in. The Duchess title means nothing when the work speaks for itself. Those 150 empty seats weren't just bad optics. They were the industry sending a message everyone heard loud and clear. The Sussex brand is worthless, their star power is extinct, and Hollywood has officially moved on.